I mean, Australian leadership, where is it? I mean, you've got Snowy 2.0. I mean, you're kidding me, aren't you? You're kidding me. I mean, the exploratory work hasn't even started on Snowy 2.0.
Well, Malcolm Turnbull promised that Snowy Hydro would only cost a couple of $2 billion and it would be built in 4 years. He made that promise in 2017. We're already past that time, of course, and we're still years away, probably another 6 years by the look of it, away from Snowy 2 even turning on. The problem we've got here, Alan, I'm not totally against some of these projects. I'm not totally against some investment in solar and wind. The issue we've got is we've got this unhealthy obsession with wanting to put all our eggs in one basket.
Yes.
Every modern industrial economy needs a variety of energy sources to succeed and be reliable. You need that base load dispatchable energy that can come from coal or gas or proper hydro, not pumped hydro. That sort of stuff needs to be in the system. And yes, you can supplement that with some solar and wind, with gas that comes on and off every now and again. That's fine. But we seem to have this ridiculous conversation in this country that it's got to be either this one or that one, and that's when we get into trouble. When we try and, as I say, put all those eggs in one basket.
Well, as simple as I've been saying, Matt, I mean, it just has to be available, affordable, and reliable. And renewable doesn't meet
exactly.
Any
it's
of
not
them.
hard.
Hey, Daniel Andrews is going to privatise Victoria's electricity market. Does he rob union-backed superannuation funds?
Yeah. Well, I think. You know, Dan Andrews here is at the apogee of this. But can I just make a comment about this? Dan Andrews has come to say that he wants 95% of Victoria's electricity from renewables in just over 10 years. This is a crazy announcement, we all know. But one of the reasons he does this is because we've entered, or the Victorian Liberals down there have entered into a unwinnable bidding war on green energy. With Dan Andrews. A few months ago, the Victorian Liberal Party decided to try and say, we'll cut emissions by more than Victorian Labor, than by Dan Andrews. And of course, what he's just turned around and done is said, no, I'll bid you up. I'll see your
hand,
royal flush, and I'll double down. And then we're left with the Victorian Liberals won't win the Green voters then, but we've just bankrupted the great state of Victoria. And this is just so sad because Victoria was always the industrial heartland of our nation. It's where our manufacturing industry was the strongest. And I'm just depressed to see what was once a great manufacturing industry being flushed down the drain here.
It's everywhere.
With very little consideration from the
everywhere.
party. It's meant to be representing these workers.
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. Look, I hope we don't run out of time here, but I just want to ask you, what do we make of this determination by the Albanese government to tax farmers on the methane produced by, well, some animals, only some? You've cited a report by the Food and Agriculture Organisation, FAO, that the average kilogram of live weight beef produced in Uruguay produced 33 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent gases. So 1 kilogram of live weight beef, 33 kilograms of carbon dioxide gases. Is the farmer going to be taxed?
Well, Alan, this is where we get into this trouble here because we sign up to vague commitments that sound good on paper when we haven't done the sums. And I would imagine if you could get Chris Bowen on your program, I doubt he would even know how much methane a cow emits every year. And as you point out those figures there, that each kilogram of live weight beef that's produced is about 30 odd kilograms of carbon equivalent gases. That means that on your plate, the steak on your plate, you're going to get about half the carcass into edible products. So it's about 60 kilograms per kilogram of beef you buy in the shops. Now that means if at a carbon price, because all these pills, they've got these magic beans out and they're going to feed the cattle to stop them emitting methane. That costs money. And the carbon price generally to reduce emissions to net zero is looked at about $200 a tonne. That's 20 cents a kilogram. So if your 1 kilogram of rib fillet for your roast on the weekend for your family, if that's producing 60 kilograms of carbon dioxide of gases, and it costs the farmer 20 cents to reduce that, that's an extra $12 a kilo.
Yeah, extra.
And so let's say it's minced. If it's minced for your spaghetti bolognese, extra. You've just doubled the price of your spaghetti bolognese. And people can't afford this. They can't afford the power bills, the interest rates, and now we're going to make their food more expensive. Again, in a land that produces so much food, we should be sustainable.
Matt, I could talk to you for an hour. We've got to get you back. I think this is a big issue, this methane emissions thing, and that is also made by cattle. I mean, what about feral pigs? Don't start me. You go off. You've got work to do down there in Canberra.
Well, I support them being eradicated.
Yeah,
that's
right,
fine. Let's get rid of them.
I agree.
Kill two birds with one stone.
And then the budget refused to provide the money to harvest water. Hello, come on. Plenty to talk about. Catch up with you again soon, Matt. There he is. That's our dose of common sense. Isn't he a talent? Senator Matt Canavan.